All right, looks like we are live. Sima, how are you today?
Doing well, Vito. You?
I'm great. Wrapping up the day, actually. It's already the end of the day here in the UK. As we're kind of going to wait a few minutes for people to start joining us. But so for now, we're just going to do like small talk and enjoy each other's time as we've already known each other for quite a few years, haven't we, Sima?
Yeah, 4 years, right? Vito started in 2018, I think, right? First
Right.
event in the UK we started, and you showed up with a team and just blew us away, and we've not let you go since.
Right. I've been happy to come and join every year since. Let's just make sure that everything is connected properly and we have some people joining us. I'm gonna check on YouTube and we are live. That's great. And let's check on Facebook. And we are also live on Facebook. Awesome. All right. So Sima, today we're going to be talking about giving back, and I think that this is something that I value a lot when it comes to business in general, but in life, I would say, and that's and even before I started working with you guys. I always liked, like working with nonprofits, working with charities. I think that's how we got together, really, because my agency was focused around helping charities through Charity Accelerator back in the day, and what I and even before that, back in Israel, I used to volunteer and help local nonprofits with their social media, and we were doing like live broadcasts. At the beginning of the 2000s, when Facebook just started doing live broadcasts, we were kind of setting up things in shopping malls and bringing celebrities to do live broadcasts for like fundraisers over there. So I've always liked to use my own skills as a way of leveraging giving back really to the community, and I always see this as a kind of an interesting way of donating time, of donating resources instead of just giving money or on top of giving money, as well as on top of or instead of working at a soup kitchen, or like volunteering at a soup kitchen, just using the unique skills that we build through our lives. And this is what this session is going to be about. So as people are starting to join us, I would like to introduce you to Sima from 48 in 48. Sima, maybe we can start by you telling us a little bit about what is 48 and 48. What are you guys doing? What is the idea?
Great, thank you, Vito. So 4848 is a nonprofit organization located in Atlanta, headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. We are a small nonprofit. Our mission and goal is to gather skills-based volunteerism to give back to the community. The way we give back to the community is by building nonprofit websites for free. So small nonprofits who don't have the resources, skill sets, or the money to be able to put a website together, our organization will take those nonprofits and build them a website in 48 hours. So therein lies our name, 48 in 48.
That's awesome. And how did you come up with this idea, like 48 websites in 48 hours? Who came up with this concept in the first place?
So the idea was from our co-founders, Jeff Hillemeyer and Adam Walker. They're the ones that are specifically we will give them credit for the initial idea here of bringing their friends and colleagues together to say, from a technology perspective, what can we as marketing and technology professionals do to give back to the community? And much like you mentioned, people are interested in giving back in loads of different ways. One of those ways could be use your own skill set. And so for 48 and 48, they decided, what if we were to build websites and just donate them to the nonprofits? So it started as a one-time thing back in 2015, one event. They were just going to do however many websites they could build. And before the first event was even over, people were coming to them and saying, so when are they doing this next year? Like what time of year will you do it again? And I'll bring more people. And that's sort of how it started. So we grew literally year by year, adding 1 to 2 cities in the US prior to the pandemic, and then also branched out to London, where we met you in 2018, and a whole bunch of other wonderful people, obviously. And now we're in 7 years, right? So we're 7 years old, and we've built over 1,000 websites for nonprofits all over the world.
That's awesome. And do you have some kind of I know I have a story to share about one of the websites that we built that really moved me when I was doing this for the first time. But has there been any charities or any nonprofits that you remember throughout the years that kind of made an impact on you?
See, that's just a really hard question for me, Vito, because I've been with the organization since 2015 in one capacity or another, and now finally as an executive director for the organization. So every year, every event, I'll find 1 or 2 nonprofits that just hit my heart. And that sort of gives me motivation to continue on year after year, event after event. So if I name one, then there's going to be someone else that's going to be upset with me. So I'm not going to let you put me into that place. Like it's not a fair question for me.
Right. So I'll share my story. So there was this one guy that it was a kid. It was like a 14-year-old kid that I think it was based in Atlanta as well. And he just kind of figured out that just around the corner from where he was living, there was a different neighborhood with different capabilities and different resources that the people that are living there had. And so he just wanted them to play. And really that was his thing. He wanted them to have toys and sporting goods and like just things that they can play that they couldn't afford, literally. So a 14-year-old went out to his school and collected all of these kind of just to his friends, and asked them for all of the like baseball gloves and bats and then the football balls and all of those kind of things that they weren't using. And then he went over and distributed them with his parents. That's how it started, but then it became a huge thing because people kind of found out about him, and Shaquille O'Neal got involved, I remember. And he was it was one of his he became one of his board members. They became like a proper non-profit, a registered non-profit that distributes sporting goods for less privileged neighborhoods all around the US. And the kid is still in high school. And so that was really an honor to build that website for them. And I will always remember this kid because I had a discovery session with him. And I was so impressed by, like, he knew exactly what he wanted, a lot more than a lot of the clients that I was working with that were running massive operations. This kid was like, yeah, the website, we need to have it like this. And these are our colors. And we got to have a big picture that shows this on this corner. And, he knew exactly what he wanted. So that was awesome. But during this event, we actually built, I think, 8 or 10 websites on the first session, which I didn't believe it was possible, but we kind of pulled through somehow. And is this something that happens? Like, how does this work with the teams usually? Like, how many websites are they expected to build over the weekend? How can they build so many websites? I don't know how we did it, but it actually inspired a lot of the things that we did later on with Atarim. But how does this usually happen? What is the setup?
So, we've been doing this a while now. So we started with one team building a website, and we realized that on site, one team can build 2 websites without much of a problem. And because we're working with small nonprofits, we're not building more than 10 to 12 pages, right? So this is not an extensive website by any means. This is a starter site, or maybe a little bit more than starter, right? So we are very confined, or we have very set parameters on what type of website we're going to build. We specifically work with teams, volunteer teams that have core skill sets from project management, WordPress development, UX and UI design, content development, and digital marketing. Those skill sets are needed on one team. So typically one team contains those 5 skill sets, about 5 people, sometimes 6 people max, and they go to work building a website where the nonprofit has already done pre-work. They filled out content questionnaires and branding questionnaires so that the team that's actually going to build the website over the weekend has all the information in front of them. And then, as you mentioned, there's a discovery session, and within our parameters, the websites are built on WordPress, on Beaver Builder. So this is where our developers come in. This is where all of our tools and processes have been defined. So there's a clear path to get to the end. We know what milestones you need to be hitting on each day, by half day, midday, end of day, in order to hit that time frame. During the pandemic, we obviously couldn't be on site anymore. So we pivoted our organization to be completely virtual. So we do everything virtually now. And fortunately, with our partnership with you, we work in Wahi, which is an amazing portal for us. All our content is on there. All our teams are on Wahi. We stream our opening and closing. But again, everything happening in a confined portal allows us to manage all of our teams properly so that we make sure nothing gets dropped, nobody gets left out. And end to end, there's just a fantastic solution. So I think that makes it easy for us. But even with our virtual events, one of the things that we've changed is we only have one team building one website, so they can focus completely on that. We weren't really sure how virtual would work if we had multiple projects going on at the same time. So we started with one. We think it works really well. In person, I think there is an opportunity for teams to sort of collaborate more and build more than one site. But right now, that's what we're sticking to.
Okay, that's cool. So, so there's like a team of 4 usually, right? That's the usual setup. One is more on the WordPress side, like a WordPress expert, and there's a team leader or a project manager, and then there's someone that is working on the content, right? And
Sure.
what was the 4th person? There's like the marketing guy.
We have a designer, right? So you have a UX or UI designer, and then we also like to have a digital marketer on the team. So that's 5 people that we like to have, core people to have on a team. And then that way, all parts of the program, the website, are accurately held together, right? Like we know we've got representation from all the areas. And all these people do this work for a living. So when they come to an event with us, they don't need to be taught how to do the job. They already know how to do the job. We're basically saying these are tools we're using, and then go, right? We've got lots of help available during the weekend, from online support to, when we had events in person support. We also have lots of documentation that shares how and what to do if you're stuck in certain areas. So we help the whole teams move along in that way.
And I actually learned a lot by taking part in these events, just because everything was pre-made. It was designed for scale, and because you don't have time to mess around. You don't have time to wait for the client, or to wait for the designer to figure out, or to wait for the content guy to write it up. Everything has to happen like right then and there. So it's like hyper systemized, and I love that, because this is really what we preach a lot to our audience. And so just having access as a volunteer to all of these resources, and just like looking through those things in the after hours, because during the hours is like you're sweating from building the websites, but looking into those resources after, and just like seeing what this huge team of people or volunteers managed to create over time, over years, to hyper systemize this workflow is something that I was inspired by, and I took a lot of notes for myself as well. I don't know if I told you that, but I took a bunch of notes for myself to see how we can implement this within my agency back then, and as well as like learn from what are the pitfalls, where do people fall when they try to build those items. Because in the later years, with you, I was managing the WordPress support on there. So I got the opportunity and the privilege to jump between every single project and see how they are working on those 40 some websites. Where did they get stuck? Usually it's in the breakpoints, right? When it comes to making it responsive,
Right.
and like making sure that everything is like properly, the width is properly aligned and all those things. But a lot of times it was content. Um, and we even implemented Atarim in some of the sessions that really helped us systemize the work and speed up all of those support requests when they were coming from the clients, from the nonprofits, I mean, but also to us as the general support in there. So I'm gonna say this a few times on this session still, but for everyone that are watching right now, we're gonna talk exactly how and where and why and when. But if you want to join the cause, please click the link that I shared in the comments. And if you're not seeing the link, it's 48in48.org. It's an amazing program to be a part of. You're gonna learn a whole lot, and even more than that, the feeling after you finish the event is just super powerful. Like you don't feel like you're giving, you're feeling like you're getting, right? That's the point of giving back. And so, Sima, what's coming this weekend?
So this weekend we have our global event. So starts on Friday, kicks off Eastern time at 6 p.m. We do have a version that kicks off the European Standard Time. So it'll be 11 o'clock for you guys and for us, I guess, but it'll kick off around that time, and we'll just basically have our sponsors, our teams all available, ready to go build websites. So the global event is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can join online or you can be in person. We're trying to hybrid, trying a hybrid version right now. So we will be at the Crown Plaza Ravinia in Atlanta. It's an IHG hotel. They've donated space for us. So if you're interested in joining the program, even last minute, come join us at the Crown Plaza in person or online. Please go to the website, register, and see if there's a slot, and you may be able to be put on a team even now, because we always have loads of volunteers. We also have people that have to drop out for one reason or another. So then we'll pull from a wait list. So there's opportunities still available. And then if this weekend doesn't work out because it's short notice, we understand. Next year, we will start with a super service event at the end of January, a women's event in March, and a social justice event in June. So those will be the top 3 events that we do at the beginning half of the year. So I invite all of you to enjoy sharing and being a part of our organization and contributing and giving back to nonprofits all over the world by joining one of our events.
So how many websites are planned to be built over this weekend, or how many people or how many nonprofits already applied?
So we have about 60 nonprofits that have already applied and are in the program. We typically we try to build 48 websites with the number of volunteers that we have. If we have more volunteers, we'll build more websites. If we don't have more volunteers, then we'll take those that have applied and move them to the next session. So basically, if you're interested at all and you're thinking you can bring a team of people to knock out a website, 10 to 12 pages, WordPress, Beaver Builder, those are your skill sets and your sweet spot. Come join us, and we definitely would have a website for you to build.
So when I first did it, I didn't know much about Beaver Builder at all, but I would say that it doesn't really matter which page builder you're proficient in. You can figure it out. It's all kind of the same. So as long as you know how to build a website properly, and I'm sure that everyone that is watching us knows exactly how to, I'll be there. My team will be there. And I would love to see a lot of you people joining us in there. So Sima, I don't know if you feel comfortable with the next question, but this is a very transparent kind of community, and we also share our challenges with each other, and we kind of we don't sugarcoat things as they are. So and I know that this is, if it's okay for me to say, I know that it's been sometimes a struggle where people are dropping off last minute, and you're being left with a bunch of websites that needs to be built. A lot of nonprofits that are counting on us to deliver, and people are dropping off last minute. So how are things looking for this particular weekend, a few days from now?
Few days from now, we'll get to our 48, but like I mentioned, we've got 60. So if we could push for any build teams to join and help out those nonprofits, that would be great. I know everyone has a really big heart, so I know everyone signs up and, with the intention of showing up. But at the last minute, things happen. And especially in this environment where we have the pandemic, people are not sure whether they want to be in person or virtual. Well, just remember, we've got both options available. If you can support us, please do. And the difference that you make in the nonprofits' lives, it's not just for one day. There's a ripple effect here for building one website that lasts to 2 to 3 years, because being in this space, we all understand that after 3 years, you probably need a refresh on your website. But there are so many nonprofits that don't even have a website. So improving their digital footprint, or even just creating a digital footprint for them, is really important. So right now, yes, we do have a significant drop rate. And so, if you are
Especially
interested,
with,
and even at the last minute, please join.
especially with the WordCamp coming back this weekend, a lot of unplanned kind of drop-offs happened. So I'm looking for people, and I'm sure that you'll join me on this request. We're looking for people that are willing to step up and give back using the skills that we've all took years to acquire. And now is our opportunity to really give value on a whole different scale, because what we do, and we charge thousands of dollars for these websites, and we have the ability to give a few $1,000 website to a charity that working with a charity that I know that all of them don't have the capacity of doing this. So it's not that we're losing clients, as sometimes people would think, or we're kind of competing with web agencies or freelancers that are out there. These charities will not have a website if it wasn't for 48 and 48. But you have the power to give a few $1,000s gift to those nonprofits, and I think that this is extremely powerful.
Yeah, thank you, Vito. Yeah, sentiments exactly. It's extremely powerful. It's useful, and the nonprofits appreciate it more than you will know. I mean, other than the fact they'll let you know the whole time how much they appreciate it, that going forward, there's so many more people that they can serve because of the website, right? From a donor perspective, they have a great looking website. They can get better donations and more donations. They can qualify for more programs. So there's a whole system here that you can be a part of. And I do hope that you will decide to join us. If not at this event, another event.
Right. Yeah, because there's always another one just around the corner.
Exactly.
And as we're wrapping this up, Sima, is there anything that you would want to kind of share with web agencies? Because managing so many websites, and you've worked, and I know from the events we had an opportunity to work with some of the biggest agencies in the world, especially in London. There was some really some of the top 10 agencies were there contributing their time and their team for the effort. So what do you think that that a web agency can learn from this experience, or how can we benefit as well while giving back?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vito. So a lot of times we have teams that come from one company, an agency or another. And like I mentioned earlier, we have 5 primary skill sets that are necessary. So what we found is that our events are sometimes being used as training sessions for their additional employees.
Right.
So you've got a new person that just started off in design, or UX, UI, or WordPress, or even content. Whatever their skill set is, they're a new person. They join a team that is already experienced. And through the weekend, there's so much work that they will do that's concentrated on a website that it catapults that newbie into another space, right? And so for us, that's great to see, because we don't limit the number of people on a team. Right, that's up to you. We're pretty autonomous when it comes to how your team runs and how you're going to work together, how you're going to divide up your work. But bringing additional people in is one way that the company overall grows and increases their skill set. And then at the end of the day, after our event is done, you're taking those skill sets with you. You're not leaving them on the table for me. So we feel like we're giving them back to you there a little bit better through the weekend. And, you know, we can do anything with our weekend. I always think of it this way. We can do loads of things with our weekend, right? We can be outside, or we can be on our sofa binge watching something, because we're really good at that now after a year of sitting at home and, you know, in the pandemic. But where else will you have an opportunity to give back in this manner from home, where you can actually feel great, like you know, after the weekend? Yes, you'll be tired. We're not gonna argue about that. And even though it's a 48-hour event, no, you don't stay up all 48 hours. It doesn't work that way either. There is time for eat, sleep, and a little bit of networking is what you can do online with the different groups and the things that we offer. So we'd love for you to experience it holistically, because it is it's kind of like coming to a conference, especially on the Wahi portal. Come to the conference, go visit the breakout rooms, go visit the streaming rooms, and see what's happening. So hopefully that's enough motivation for you to find something that you'll like, connect with people. If you don't have a team, you can join as an individual and we'll add you to a team. So then you get to meet new people. So there's a lot of things that can happen just by trying us.
I love that. And I'm thinking maybe we're going to showcase a little bit how this really looks, because I'm seeing some people and we have a comment here. I don't know who this is from, but first of all, I appreciate you, and I appreciate that you're sharing that you're sharing the cause with your network. Is this something that we're gonna need to do? Like, do you have any people? I know that when I come, I usually do like 12 hours a day, but I know that most people don't, or some people don't, and they come for a few hours. Is there any value to it, or are you looking for people that can commit for like the full-on days?
You're looking for people that commit to most of the weekend, but with each skill set, there's a different commitment. So, you know, in the very beginning, the team all needs to be together for a few hours to kind of come up with a plan. And then content might go away and work on pieces by themselves. And it could, depending on what they're working with, it could take them half of the time they expected or the full time. So coming and going within the program and within the weekend event is really up to how your team is set up, and what flexibility you have and how quick you are. We never tried to guess, you know, how long it's going to take one person to do anything, any kind of skill set, because the websites vary. They come across every category that you could possibly imagine. And then also at the same time, you're going to go from a person that has no website at all to someone who's got one, but it's really old, really broken, and just needs some TLC, right? So we can never tell you what it's going to take, but we can tell you that a regular day would be, if you kicked off around 6:30 with us, you'd be done by around 11 is when most people kind of cut off the day. The next day, Saturday, is mostly your full day. And then on Sunday, we usually have things wrapped up and going into QA, but around 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we do a quick award ceremony for the top sites at our, right? So that's sort of how we work it. We try to keep it fun. We try to keep it useful to everybody and not waste time. But at the same time, we do want to make sure that you do get something out of it.
So is it okay for me to show what's going to happen a little bit?
Sure.
I pulled it out before I asked, so I'm sorry, Sima.
Go ahead, Vito. It's all yours anyway.
So we're now inside what will be the venue for the weekend, and we can see that we have some of those things, exactly the stuff that you were talking about here, the kickoff events, where we're going to be talking a little bit about the program, what's it's doing, and what's going to happen next, and what's happening on the opening ceremony.
Opening ceremony, basically, we're introducing the teams. We have a keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is from State Farm this year. So we're excited to have him speak during the opening. Then we talk about what the run of show will be for the event, you know, what the base expectations are. And then we usually wrap it up in about 35 minutes, and then the teams are introduced to each other. The teams are already introduced to each other, so then they can go off and go to their meeting rooms, which we can go into, and they'll pick their space. They're assigned by nonprofit. They go to their rooms, they meet their teams, and they just start collaborating at that point.
Right. They have like, and every team basically has their own room that
Right.
they're gonna be in here. Oh, and oh, nice. So you set this up based on the charity, based on the
Then
nonprofit that they're gonna be serving. So we can always see that there's loads of these ones, and of course, Sima's Lounge here at the bottom. Uh, and I remember one of the cool things is that we were kind of naming the rooms as well because we were doing like multiple projects. I don't know if that's something that is
so
also
we
planned for this thing.
Yeah, so we left it open this year to just basically, the tabletop can have an image on it. So if there's a team and it's an IBM team or a State Farm team, any of our sponsors that, yeah, thank you for pulling that up, Verizon, any of our sponsors here, if you're a team that's associated with one of those, then you can put that logo also on your table. And that way, if somebody's looking for you quickly, you're going to a Cox or a KMS team or an IBM team quickly, and you can get there. And that in on top of the name of the nonprofit helps easy navigation for everybody.
Okay, I love that, and I also love how you kind of structured all of the knowledge here. So there's recordings from different areas, and how to reach out for find all kinds of different WordPress resources. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, well, we've been able to put all our information in one place. We used to use Google a lot, put everything on Drive, but then we had issues with the links and links not working and access being an issue. So having everything in one place just makes it so much easier. And we've had people tell us that this is so much more than they anticipated ever having when it came to a virtual event. So it's really great that people feel like this whole event is just comprehensive, right? Like it feels like they've gone to a conference with all the types of things that we're offering. Remember, we're also offering impact labs for our nonprofits. So for nonprofits who walk away with a brand new website, they then get to come, they're invited to impact sessions where they learn WordPress one-on-one. If you just need to make small
Right.
changes to your website, this is how you would do it. What you need to think about from an SEO perspective or a branding perspective, marketing perspective. So that's how we're also giving back to the nonprofit, because we've got subject matter experts from these fields that are actually giving out all this information. So it's a well-oiled machine as far as we've thought about the plus and minus for everybody. And we're also working with people who have the skill sets and the knowledge that they want to share to help make that nonprofit better, just that much better.
I love that. And who is gonna be like? Where are you bringing the people that are gonna be talking about those different topics, like the marketing side and stuff?
So most of them come from different agencies, right? So our
Yeah.
agency partners, we'll reach out to them locally or even across the US and just say, we're looking for an expert to talk on this particular topic. And we change it up every single event. So we have somebody different talking. Maybe it's the same exact topic, but it's a new person, new focus, talking from different agencies, because we really focus on subject matter experts to deliver the best information as concisely as possible to the nonprofit.
Okay, I love that. And Sima, how can people join us?
4848.org. Go to events and sign up. You'll see a list currently that'll say that you'll be put on a wait list. But that's all you need to do is go ahead and register, sign up, and someone will contact you. It's
My
so easy.
task for I have a really interesting project for this weekend, and I'm building the charity website of all charity websites, and I'm gonna be doing a redesign of with my team of the 48 and 48 website. Definitely needs a bit of an upgrade, Sima, to be honest. So I'm happy to be the one that is gonna help with this.
Definitely. That's why you were targeted very specifically, Lupita. We know that the work you and your team do is excellent, and so we're very, very happy to see what you come up with at the end of the weekend. And I'll be around all weekend bugging you, so don't worry, Vito. You won't be lonely.
Great.
I'll be around.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So is this the one that people need to fill out? The volunteer one, right? So just go
Exactly.
here,
Yeah.
and inside here you'll see volunteer information, and you just want to sign up. Should I start a team if I run an agency? Should I start a team or should I sign up?
Depends. If you've got a group of people you're bringing with you, sign up as a team. If you're an individual, sign up the other way. If you're a team, just pick your own name. It doesn't even matter what it is. It can you can go and change it later on. It's just so that we can group your team together. That's the reason we ask for a team name.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, so as we're wrapping this up, thank you again, Sima, for joining me today. Thank you for everyone that is watching on the live as well as on the replay. Leave any questions, and myself or Disha for my team are gonna answer anything in there. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna be there over the weekend. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for watching. And I hope to see you there. Maybe that will be our opportunity to meet up finally, beyond the 147 profile picture that I'm seeing. Yeah. So if you're into this, if you want to give back to the community, this is really the best nonprofit that I found for our industry to give back in. So come join me, come join Sima, and I'll see you over the weekend. Thank you, Sima.
Thank you, Vito. Thanks, everybody.